song suggests it's all about the title fight. One crown and one champion. It's the new venue, the Stadium of Drift. It's Bay Park, Tauranga, the concrete jungle. Welcome to the Codys Bourbon and Cola D1NZ National Drifting Championship, Mount Maunganui. As the championship title heats up mid-season, it's brought to you by Codys Bourbon and Cola, Castrol Edge Oil, BP Ultimate 98, and Dodson Performance. So Warren Sarah, it all started at round one.
That's right, Brendan. It all kicked off with a bang. A little bit of controversy, some of the best chasing ever seen. The debut of Shane the Giz van Gisbergen, and that final between Curt Whittaker and Fanga Dan Woolhouse that would end in controversy. The reigning DK off to a great start. Fanga Dan in second. We move to the concrete jungle of Whangarei. Fanga Dan in front of his home crowd would put on a show, as would all the other drivers. You see the massive hits that were coming through, and the emergence of Nico Reid as a real powerhouse in the D1NZ National Drifting Championship. Fanga Dan would stand on the top step of the podium and grab the championship lead from reigning DK Curt Whittaker and young Nico Reid.
Further down the table, Andrew Redward, Danum Templeman and Ben Boucher. Those are the leaders coming into round three. The beautiful Mount Maunganui surfs up. D1NZ is in the house for the retirement capital of New Zealand. Welcome to the Codys D1NZ National Drifting Championship. It's on. Mount Maunganui Bay Park has turned it on. Warren, what an event.
What an amazing track. Look at the amount of people that are here. Tauranga has come out in force to see people running the walls, riding the walls. They're getting loud, they're getting rowdy. They want to see some action.
Now this event is unique in itself. Right now we've got Nick Franklin and Mitch McCarthy backflipping behind us, but it's a left-hander, the drifting.
Drivers are initiating on the door side. That's real scary. It means that if you hit a car in front of you when you're chasing, you're going to take that impact. Heart rates are through the roof. Drivers are excited. They're a little bit nervous. They're not sure what to expect. This is amazing.
So who are the standouts at this event for Tauranga?
Oh, we're looking at the usuals, the perennial powerhouses, Gaz Whiter, Cole Armstrong, Curt Whittaker, and the mad one, Mad Mike Whiddett. Fanga Dan, though, series leader, he's pretty hard to beat at the moment.
And the crowd, over 5,000 people jam-packed. Let's check it out.
A little bit light there, Brendan. It was actually over 7,000, a record crowd. The full house signs went up for the first time ever. You wonder why the drivers' heart rates are through the roof. Check this out. Concrete barriers, 20 centimetres thick at the top, 40 centimetres thick at the bottom. 2 tons of merciless concrete.
Yeah, so this circuit here at Bay Park in Tauranga, it's fast. It's really, really fast, and it's really scary, and there's no room for error.
We don't do too many high-speed left-handers, and especially onto a wall.
We're not going down the wall for the first entry, we're going straight at it.
Judges have said no inside clips, all outside, so there's concrete walls everywhere.
And it's got a wicked little bump as well, so you flick over the bump and you're just noising it all the way towards the wall, and yeah, it's quite a cool feeling and different.
Our entry speeds are probably just only slightly higher, but the whole infield is just lengthened up, and it's a real nice flowing track.
You come back, and if you've got paint missing and not bent panel, you've done all right.
Who better than the current Drift King to take us for a lap of ASB Bay Park?
You're riding with Curt Whittaker, Autosure R34 Skyline. Let's go for a lap of Bay Park. Starting off in second. Third. Bit of a handbrake out to the clip, slowing up. Right out, slowing down as much as possible. Right out to the wall. Keeping it nice and tight. They want you right on the wall, nice and wide, nice and smooth, heaps of throttle, and out. That's a nice practice run. When it comes to racing, we're going to go a bit harder.
Well, the boys don't hold back just for racing. Qualifying is one of the most important parts of the D1NZ. The boys have got to go all out because it sets who they battle in the top 32.
And round 3 saw the return of Shane van Gisbergen.
Manfield qualifying, we had an issue, so we only had one run, and I just played it safe, so I made the field. But unfortunately, bad qualifying, we were straight against the top guys. So if I qualify well and we are in the top half of the field, we might be able to progress through. So it would be awesome to get into the top 16, or even better, I'd be stoked.
Objective met. Van Gisbergen qualifies 11. Also returning in his 07 spec S13 is Sean, the coach Falconer. Falconer's doing selected rounds this year.
These guys are unreal out here today. They're going really good. I haven't had a lot of battle practice, so in the past that's where I used to do well, but these guys are really on it, so it'll be hard.
Falconer showed a return to form, but ended up ultimately in position number 17.
And this is what the judges are looking for.
That's the name of the game with drifting. Hit the clipping point. It goes there, the car goes there. Take it off if you can.
So one of Tauranga's favourite sons, he's promised a lot this season, hasn't had the best of luck. Cole Armstrong in the V Energy R34 will be seeing what he can deliver.
We've gone back to where we know is best, power to grip ratio. Everything's feeling really good now. I feel like I'm back in the car and know where the car is, and that's what it's all about. You don't want to be learning a new setup with the car because you got so many things going on, you don't want to get lost in it.
Looking strong in front of his hometown fans, Cole Armstrong will qualify position number 7.
Zach Paul, I drove the Rolly Bullet HD Sports Cameras R33 Skyline. It's 600 horsepower, runs a straight 6 turbocharged engine, tons of torque, tons of power, it's good fun, the car's really light. I've only been in the D1 for, this is my 3rd round, but we're getting there bit by bit.
So less is more for Zach Paul, he picks up qualifying position number 6.
Hi, my name is Troy, the family guy. I'm all the way up from Christchurch. And here's my boy Dill.
Hi.
How you going? Went for a wheel alignment yesterday. We've just done a bit more toe out in the front to get more lock. And we've just gone for the same stuff in the rear again. We're just standing up in the rear. We've got a bit of toe in the bum as well. But no, pretty much the same as what we ran last time. But just tyre pressures, and we've actually dropped the spring rate as well just to get more squat and to try and get off that little turn at the top there.
Best qualifying result of the season so far for the family guy, grabs qualifier number 5.
Hey guys, Andrew Redward, Achilles Radial Drift Team. This is my RX7. We're looking really good out there, you know, just feeling out the line, getting used to the track surface. It's really slippery at the moment. So we just put on the new Achilles 123s and gonna see how they go, see if we get some traction.
Qualifying in 4th position, will Andrew Redward deliver the goods this round?
Standing right in his way, Fanga Dan in the Castrol Edge Commodore.
Our biggest thing is getting the gearing right with the V8. You've only got so much revs, but you've got heaps of torque, so you can actually go in a higher gear and pull it from right down the bottom. So that's the main thing, getting right, just for a track like this.
So Woolhouse puts the 8 in qualifying position number 3 as we go to the screaming rotor of Mad Mike Whiddett.
You know, we've done a lot of testing and development with this car. This is the original one from 2006. So every year we learn a lot. Focus today is to catch back up on points. So yeah, really want to just bring the car back out that we know and go and stick it to the wall.
Stick it to the wall, Mad Mike would. He had one shot at this to qualify and grabbed an 88 in position number 2.
And finally getting his mojo back, Mr. Gaz Whiter in the Tectaloy S14.
I feel I'm driving good enough. I'm happy with the car now. I just get out there and drive it, and it's not breaking down. So I'm happy in this seat. Just hit it.
And hit it, Whiter would. Also on an 88, separated by a 2nd run score, Gaz Whiter qualifies number 1. Qualifying done, battles on. Welcome back. We're into the top 32. By virtue of grabbing strong results, the top 4 get a bye into the top 16, which means we've got some fantastic battles going down. Bruce Tinnock, Hugo Mclean, Brad Lauder, Codys, the battle of the young guns at Zach Paul versus Robbie Nelson, and 2 Taurangaites, Cole Armstrong and Ben Belcher.
So as top 32 start, has Sean Falconer still got the goods?
Has the driving technique or the skill level gone up since you last competed?
Yeah, definitely. I've really noticed Guy is using a lot more angle and driving the car off the walls. We didn't used to run that as much angle back in the day, so that's been my biggest challenge, is to try and really use the angle and the grip of the car.
So the returning Falconer would come up against Tauranga driver Aidan Omnett, one of the sponsors of the weekend. Omnett in the 2JZ Altezza would put on a good show. He tagged the wall though. Falconer, nice and strong early. He'd go through to the top 16.
In battles, the judges are looking for the lead car to stay on the drift line and the chase car, being Sean Falconer, to be as close as possible. Another big personality coming out this round, Hugo Mclean.
I've got to really focus on where the car's going, because it's not super grippy, being a Corolla, and I don't have power steering, and with the peripheral port rotary it doesn't make any vacuum, so I've got no vacuum for my brakes, my brake booster, so it's hard on the brakes, and no power steering's the biggest fight at the moment.
So a bit of a grudge match here between a couple of friendly foes. The elder statesman Bruce Tannock and Hugo Mclean, who you see looking like he was going to make a mistake, but the bigger mistake came from Tannock, who would contact the wall.
A huge mistake there from Bruce Tannock in the Rocket Bunny Achilles S14. If you go too wide, you're just not going to pull it back. Boom, into the concrete barrier. And for those fans that love JDM, that's a genuine Rocket Bunny. Thousands of dollars just went up in smoke.
One of the great things about D1NZ is the battle of the horsepower heroes. Jason Sellers well over 600, Willie Foster mid-200s at best. You see Willie make a mistake.
It's a big mistake there from Willie Foster. Jason Sellers nowhere to go and clips the back of the AE85.
Unfortunately for the second round in a row, Willie Foster ends up on the wall. Jason Sellers goes through.
So the next top 32 highlight up was the two locals, Ben Belcher in the small nimble RX7 versus Cole Armstrong in the big V-Energy R34, and look at that chase.
You see here the battle of two very different styles. The rotary of Belcher, it's twitchy, it's low horsepower, it's very fast accelerating out in corners. Cole Armstrong though, all about power and torque with the RB30 underneath the bonnet. Armstrong would do the job, go through to the top 16.
I'm Robbie Nelson and I drive the Codys Batteries S15. I'm from Whangarei and I'm 17 years old. And yeah, this is Fanga Dan's old car, but we've changed a lot to it to adapt to my driving style. So yeah.
Youthful exuberance is one way to describe Robbie Nelson's driving style. There wasn't a straight panel left on this car after qualifying. Nelson was all about the aggression, all about putting on a show. He would amazingly make it back out though for the top 32 battles.
There are no panels left to fall off, so I'm not afraid to bloody hit those walls again. We're going all the way to the top. Nothing's gonna stop us.
So unfortunately for Robbie Nelson, he drew Zach Poe, and Zach Poe is on form this season, as you saw earlier. It wouldn't be enough. Zach Poe would deliver the goods with a high horsepower and go through to top 16.
You need to be at one with the car and know the absolute limit and the angle that you need, and that's one thing I'm still figuring out. You know, you don't get it overnight, it's going to take some time, and I'm still nowhere near right yet. So just coming in straight to the max angle and holding it is where those guys are top stuff. So it'll come, it's just time.
Well, for a guy who's just figuring this sport out, check out the immense talent of Shane, the Giz van Gisbergen, feathering the throttle. He's right there on the rear wheel arch of Skyzell in the 2 degrees 350Z. Federal tyres on one car, Hero tyres on the other. Maximum smoke coming off Zell's car, but Van Gisbergen still right in there, Brendan.
Both V8s putting out the smoke machines. A cheeky wave comes out there from Gisbergen. He gets his first ever top 16.
That was the goal for the weekend, so pretty stoked. Yeah.
So with the top 32 done and dusted, it's time to move towards the top 16. But first up, it's the pit walk. It's your chance to meet your heroes, get an autograph, get a sticker, to check out some of the decoration on display, and an FMX display for the first time ever at D1.
That's right, Aiden's Tyres and Metal Militia came out in force.
Righto guys, this is the second of 3 demos today. We've got Mitch McCarty lining it up.
So Mitch Mad Dog McCarty with a big Superman seat grab. Mad Mike from Metal Militia as Nick Franklin backflips over him. The crowd loved it at Tauranga. To concrete as well, not the most easiest of FMX places to ride, but what a unique event. So the Aiden's Tyres and Metal Militia FMX demo went down a huge treat.
A real big part of D1NZ this season though is the development series. You see the top 4, Darren Kelly, Michael Thorley, Jody Verhulst and Sam Smith. Thorley and Kelly would go to war first.
So Darren Kelly coming off a win at the last round in Whangarei, and the chase from Darren Kelly, one of the definite stars of the D1 Pro-Am feeder series.
We call it a feeder series because it's been set up to develop these drivers. They learn how to chase, they learn how to battle, they learn that racecraft that our D1NZ pros have. You see here Darren Kelly looking real strong, hoping for another win after winning Whangarei.
You got one of the faster cars in Pro-Am. How do you deal with chasing the slower cars?
Yeah, it's actually quite good for my driving with being able to chase a slow car. Like, it's really good for just for learning and stuff like that. But it's probably one thing I have been struggling a little bit with, trying to keep smooth and chasing as well. But that's sort of all part of learning, and it's yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Sam Smith up against Jody Woolhouse. Jody Woolhouse putting a huge amount of effort into the Tauranga round with her partner Drew Donovan, making it what it was. But Jody now looking for her first ever final podium, and she's got the gap on Sam.
Yeah, Jody Woolhouse had one of the loudest cheering sections without a doubt. She's the first ever female to make a semi-final. She's the first female potentially in line for a podium at a D1NZ round. And look at the driving being displayed here by Woolhouse. She's so cool, calm and collected, looking nice and relaxed. Sam Smith, he's got a big job to do.
So the big power of Sam Smith couldn't do the job. He now battles for the 3rd and 4th position. Who will get that podium spot? Mike Thorley on the lead.
Thorley's been really aggressive this weekend, but Sam Smith has undoubtedly one of the fastest cars in the development series. So you see there, he was really shallow on his entry angle there. Thorley looking good and strong out front. He's on the line that's been requested, but a bit of a mistake there from Thorley.
And unfortunately, one mistake will lead to another. Thorley puts a wheel off, and that will give the advantage to Sam Smith as he goes through and picks up that podium spot.
So into the finals we go. Jody Woolhouse, Darren Kelly.
Yeah, finally. Hey. We're gonna, hopefully get some more points. They'll put us right up there in the championship now.
No! Woo! So a bit of excitement there from Jody, and a good point from Darren. This is a championship. This is round 3 of 6, so they are, after those points, a big factor for Jody, but a big gap for Darren.
Yeah, one of the important things to remember is that Darren Kelly didn't actually get any points at all at the first round after suffering that turbo failure, so he has to just about win every round to be in with any shot of grabbing this development series title. You see there that Darren Kelly's managed to power away from Jody. That's going to hand him a big advantage, Brendan.
That's right, Warren. Jody's done pretty well to get to this point. She's been suffering mechanical issues with her gearbox, so they swap over now. And Jody's going to be on the lead. Is Darren going to be able to chase her down?
Well, Darren Kelly's shown all season that he is maximum committed. He's been able to tuck right onto the door of the car in front. He's showing almost pro-like chasing skills. Jody Woolhouse fighting those mechanical issues, just can't get away from the 400 kilowatts of Darren Kelly's R32 Skyline.
So the Mag and Turbo Super being chased down by that TKM Fabrication R32. Back bumper, door-to-door, pretty good for a Pro-Am feeder series. Who's going to take it, Warren?
Well, I think Darren Kelly all over the back there at Jody Woolhouse. Kelly is going to go through and take the victory.
So a pretty ecstatic pit crew there in the pits. Hugs all around for Jody as well.
That was awesome. Best battling I think I've seen since I've been in Pro-Am or since I've been doing D1.
It's time to get down to business here at the Codys D1NZ. You see the girls leading out the top 16 on their parade lap. The crowd get to appreciate their heroes. They come here in force in their thousands to see these guys put on a show, and what a show they would put on.
So the top 16, Gary Tenana, Shane Van Gisbergen, then Zach Pohl, Datum Slim Templeman, Castrol Edge driver, Fanga Dan Woolhouse, then the young gun Nico Reid.
The man that Tauranga was here to see, Cole Armstrong for V Energy, Mad Mike in the Red Bull RX7, Jason Sellers, the Wong's Kitchen C33 Laurel, Troy the Family Guy Forsyth all the way from Christchurch, Bradley Lauder for Shred, Andrew Redward on the Achilles RX7, Curt Whittaker the reigning Drift King,
Hugo Mclean in the Grabatool AE85, the return 07D Sean Falconer, and of course 3-time New Zealand champion, the #1 qualifier Gaz Whiter. Stay tuned after the break, the battles heat up, top 16.
To the top 16 we go. It's Gaz Whiter up against Sean Falconer, Hugo Mclean up against the Drift King, Curt Whittaker, Fanga Dan against Datum Templeman, Zach Pohl and Shane Van Gisbergen.
So first off the chopping block, we've got Gaz Whiter versus Sean Falconer. Gaz Whiter on the lead, S14 versus versus S14, the S chassis.
So Sean Falcon is rated by many as the best driver never to have been crowned DK in New Zealand. Gaz Whiter, though, 3 times champion, showing the form that makes him such a threat at every round. He is so smooth. Falcon is tucked right up the inside there. He's off the line that the judges would have asked for. This is going to hand an advantage to Whiter.
So an interesting bit there. Last time Falconer competed, he was allowed to pass. However, the rules changed. Wonder if that was why he was an inside line coming through that last apex.
They'll switch over now. Gaz Whiter will have the chase. Falconer will have the lead. Falconer knows he's got to do something special. Look at the acceleration coming in here from both drivers. Both drivers are faster than they were before. Whiter takes the wall.
That's a huge from Whiter. He's sliding. Oh!
What an impact. Gaz Whiter into the wall hard. The back end of that car is just about destroyed. That was a 2-ton concrete block being moved, and look at the fluids coming out of Whiter's car. What an impact, Brendan. We have never seen that before.
So you can see we're in all wrong there. The rim shattered into pieces. It was like ice skating. Moves a humongous concrete barrier.
That is a piece of rim that you see flying off through the air. Gaz Whiter's rim shattered straight backwards into that 2-ton concrete barrier. Whiter, fortunately though, would get out of his car unhurt but dazed.
Yeah, it's just too much speed into the first corner. He tapped it and I followed him in just as fast, if not faster, and just caught it too hard. Yeah, probably hit it. 80k, I reckon. It was the biggest hit I've ever had.
So a testimony to the safety of these cars. Gaz Whiter walking away from one of the biggest crashes in D1NZ.
And you saw Brendan, he was so wide there, he got out on those marbles, he had nowhere to go.
So next top 16 battle up, it's Curt Whittaker in the Autosure R34 versus Hugo Mclean in the Grabatool AE85.
Hugo Mclean will be disappointed with his qualifying. He came in at position number 25, but he's taken out a top 32 opponent. Let's see what he can do up against the reigning Drift King.
So Curt Whittaker, the big munge as he initiates into the first section. A nice gap there. Hugo Mclean, a bit of a shallow line to catch on up, but now he's on him back bumper.
Yeah, Hugo Mclean there taking advantage of the light, nimble nature of his car there, closing up on the back of the big horsepower Whittaker Motorsport 2JZ R34. Look at Mclean though, he's way on the inside there. Are the judges going to penalise him? Yes, they are. They will give the advantage to Curt Whittaker. Hugo Mclean has a big job to do to take down the DK.
So they swap over. Curt Whittaker struggling for that power off the line, and Hugo Mclean getting the big gap. Takes a shallow line though. The judges want to see him out on that wall.
Well, Curt Whittaker's a long way back, and we see there he's almost lost his drift. Hugo Mclean knew that he had a job to do. He has come out, he has thrown down hard. Curt Whittaker is a long way back, and I'd say that's just about going to be called even, Brendan.
Well, the judges deem that both drivers made equal mistakes, so it goes to a re-one. Curt Whittaker back on the lead, the score's even.
Whittaker this time off to a much better start. He is going to be well aware of what Hugo Mclean is bringing to the party this time. But look at Mclean, a much better chase coming from this time. Look at that, he is way up the inside of that wheel arch of the 2JZ R34 of Whittaker. Hugo Mclean is looking to make a statement against the Drift King.
That's right, that Grabatool AE85 is on form. He is pushing it. Power ratios, the 20B screaming. That's a huge advantage to Hugo Mclean, as you see there on the Castrol Edge replay.
So as we go to the switchover run, Hugo Mclean will have the lead. And you see there, Whittaker again, he's fighting for traction off the line. 400 horsepower in Hugo Mclean's car, close to 800 in Curt Whittaker's. No matter what he does, he just can't get off the line. Hugo Mclean jumps out front. Curt Whittaker's got to close it up, and I think he's going to struggle to do it. Brendan Mclean, the man possessed. Look at him hammering home this advantage he's got. Curt Whittaker, there's nothing more he can do about this. Hugo Mclean is going to go through to the top 8.
So a tough result there for the defending champion and his championship hopes. Hugo Mclean, though, skinning it up, bit of excitement. We go to the next battle. Brad Lauder in the Shrewd Motorsport S14 versus Andrew Redward in the RX7. Now, Andrew Redward on form at this round.
Andrew Redward is called the D1NZ Angle King for a reason. He throws in hard and fast every single time he's on the track. And look at the chase here from Redward. He is mimicking exactly what Brad Lauder is doing in front of him. This is exactly what the judges want to see. Brad Lauder's out wide on the drift line. Andrew Redward is right there with him. This is going to hand a big advantage to Andrew Redward. He just about passes him as they exit the drift section.
Well, Brad Lauder actually goes off track. That's going to be enough. Andrew Redward will go through to the top 8.
It's a rematch of Whangarei. Troy, the family guy, Forsyth up against Jason Sellers. Forsyth was victorious last time. Jason Sellers made an entry-level mistake. Sellers will not want to repeat that again, but look at Troy, the family guy, Forsyth, all about aggression. He is right on the door of the Wong's Kitchen Morale. Jason Sellers, how can he get away from this guy? Troy Forsyth is here to do the job.
Well, he's trying to create a smoke screen, but the Rapid Performance S13 just seems to be sticking all over that C33. Big advantage there to Troy as he comes out of the judge section. As we go to a replay, this is where it all went right for the family guy. He's going to be going through the top 8, an unfortunate end for Jason Sellers in the Wong's C33.
Forsyth all over the back and into the 8 he goes. Mad Mike up against Gary Tenana, the black on black industry C33 Laurel. Whiddett will have the lead, Tenana will have the chase.
Well, you can feel the excitement in the crowd build up as Mad Mike Whiddett commits to the first entry, hits that outer clipping point. Tenana now trying to close the gap up by taking an inner line.
Tanana is well shallow there. Mad Mike is on the line that's been asked for. And Gary Tenana spins out, so that is going to hand a 10-0 advantage to the mad one, Mad Mike Whiddett.
So as the crowd gets into it even more, we swap over now. Mad Mike on the chase, Gary Tenana on the lead.
Tenana knows he's got to do something special. He's got to try and force a mistake. He's thrown in wider than he did the first time around. Gary Tenana, maximum commitment as he goes out towards the wall. But Tenana spins and he forces Mad Mike into the wall.
That is a huge hit.
Gary Tenana got it all wrong and Mad Mike had nowhere left to go. We go to the replay there, you can see Mad Mike's car has basically just been pinched hard against that concrete wall. I wonder how much damage has been done to the car.
Well, what a shame, unfortunately for Mad Mike. He is okay. The crowd ecstatic that he's okay as well.
Little buff out. Lucky I got the #1 crew, they'll sort it.
What an attitude from Mad Mike, a true champion of the people. As we see another champion of the people, Cole Armstrong, staging up against Nico Reid in the luxury Sports S15. This is going to be a battle of two real good mates. Neither will hold anything back. Nico Reid is so full of confidence right now. He comes off his first ever podium at the Whangarei round, but Cole Armstrong, he wants that result here in front of his home crowd. Look at Reid though, nice and tight on the inside, and look at this, he is going to tuck right into that car, just about touching the rear wheel arch of the V Energy R34. Nico Reid, so confident right now. Look at how relaxed he is behind the wheel, and that is a real key to success here in the D1NZ Pro Championship. Just about touches again, and that is going to hand a big advantage to Nico Reid.
Nico Reid's crew going spastic in the pits, and as we go to a BP Ultimate replay here, you can see tucking on up some of the best drifting we will see in D1NZ. What a chase from Nico Reid in the luxury Sports S15. Huge advantage. What is Cole Armstrong going to pull out on his chase?
Well, Nico Reid could have just about reached out the window then and shaken hands with Cole Armstrong, but he is going to try and ram home that advantage now. Look at Cole Armstrong though, he is fighting back. He is hit, he is hit, he is spun. That is going to hand a 0-10 to Nico Reid. Nico Reid is going all the way through. Is he on track for another podium here at Bay Park?
Well, what a disappointment for the local Tauranga crowd for their favourite Cole Armstrong, but yes, the young gun Nico Reid goes through to top 8.
There's a party going on in the pits there, Brendan. They are ecstatic all the way from South Auckland. Check out the Dodson performance replay. Armstrong tags the rear quarter of the car. That costs him his drift. He spins out. Nico Reid is going through.
Well, full credit to the V Energy R34 for the commitment. It could have gone anyway, but we go to the next battle. The big dogs, Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Slim Danem Templeman.
This is a classic battle of the ages, Brendan. The V8 muscle of Fanga Dan against the 20B with the dinner plate size turbo Danem Slim Templeman, an accomplished single-seater racer who's turned his hand to drifting. Fanga Dan, though, has been on such a tear of form recently. Can anyone stop this man at the moment? It doesn't look like it with the angle he's generating out of the Castrol Edge Commodore.
Well, Fanga's at one with that Commodore at the moment. He seems to be able to place it simplistically, but making no mistakes, making it really hard to chase. Danem Templeman doing a pretty good job closing that gap up on the last apex.
Yeah, Danem Templeman actually with a really strong chase there, and that's going to be called just about even by the judges, which means that Fanga Dan is going to have the work to do. As we go to the replay there, you can see that Templeman closed up through the end of the drift section. Danem Templeman will now have the lead. Fanga Dan on the chase, and as we all know, Fanga Dan is not a man who's afraid to trade paint.
Well, the NAC RX7 doing an amazing job at a lead on the line the judges want to see, but Fanga Dan, what a chase. Door to door, bumper to bumper, switches on in. You got to wonder why he's the 2006 Drift King and the current championship leader. Well, that is it.
Fanga Dan Woolhouse, we talk about it often. The man gets so close he could just about order a hamburger in the window of the lead car.
Well, as we flip over the BP98 there, what driving from two amazing drivers, but in the end, Fanga Dan Woolhouse goes through to top 8.
Speaking of amazing talents behind the wheel, Shane van Gisbergen comes into the top 16 for the first time. He comes up against Zach Pole, who's been on a bit of a tear of form since Whangarei. He seems to really like these concrete jungle tracks, but look at the initiation from Shane van Gisbergen.
Well, Van Gisbergen's shown his intentions really early on this battle, but he pushes it too hard, tries to chase it and spins, so that's going to be a 10-0 to Zach Pole in the Rolly R33. Shane van Gisbergen sits there a bit dumbfounded with what just happened.
You check out the replay here, sponsored by Dodson Performance. Van Gisbergen just overcooks it after that early initial entry. That is going to hand the advantage to Pole. What can Shane van Gisbergen do? He's got to try and force a mistake now from Zach Pole, but I don't know that he's going to be able to do it. Zach Pole looking real strong.
Well, that was nearly 2 wheels off on the initiation to the section, so there's a huge advantage already to Zach Pole, and Zach Pole chasing him down on the angle the judges want to see. Still on the line the judges want to see. Shane van Gisbergen switches fiercely. It's not going to be enough. Oh, big correction there though from Zach Pole.
Yeah, a bit of a correction there, but Zach Pole knows that he has a 10-0 advantage, even if it goes 1-9 the other way. Shane van Gisbergen is such a massive talent though, consummate professional behind the wheel. Been a real privilege to have him be part of D1NZ. Top 16 done, top 8 after the break.
That's a promise we made long ago. Welcome back to the Codys D1NZ National Drifting Championship. It's the top 8, the business end. Falconer, Hugo Mclean, Andrew Redward and Troy Forsyth, Mad Mike Whiddett, Nico Reid, Fanga Dan Woolhouse and Zach Pole. First battle off the rank.
This is definitely not what we expected to see in the top 8. Hugo Mclean and Sean Falconer, Curt Whittaker and Gaz Whiter on the trailers early. The returning cult hero from Hamilton up against the young gun from South Auckland.
Well, this is going to be an interesting battle. Both drivers are definitely on form today. Hugo Mclean takes an inner line, which is going to mark him down, but he manages to get on back up there on Sean Falconer.
Yeah, small correction there from Falconer as he went through the first clipping point. Hugo Mclean needs to close up a bit more. I think he might have an advantage at the moment because Falconer just wasn't as smooth as we've been expecting from him, and Hugo Mclean carries his drift through the end of the section. Mclean now has the lead, Falconer has the chase. Let's see what happens here as Hugo Mclean throws in hard and fast in that 400 horsepower 20B AE85 Corolla.
Well, what a look sliding towards that wall on board, but a big mistake there from Sean Falconer. That's going to hand the advantage to Hugo Mclean. Could we see Hugo going through for his first ever top 4? Hugo, now Sean Falconer dives in early.
That's too early from Falconer there. I'm pretty sure I saw a little smile there from Hugo Mclean. He knows he's done the job. Hugo Mclean through to the top 4 for the first time ever.
Well, the BP98 replay shows where it all went wrong for Falconer, unfortunately, but what a return from Sean Falconer. We're definitely going to see more of him in the D1NZ Championship.
The South Island People's Champion, Troy the Family Guy Forsyth up against Andrew Redward, the Angle King. It's angle versus aggression. How's this one going to play out? V8 versus Piston 6 power.
Well, Troy is a lot like Fanga. He does not hold back. If you're in his way, he will drive through you. But look at the gap there in the Achilles FC of Andrew Redward. He is just powering through.
Well, Andrew Redward's car is very light and very nimble. They've engineered it purposefully to make it as nimble as possible. What that means is it accelerates away. You saw the gap he was able to create and maintain to the end of the drift section. That's going to hand the advantage to Redward.
Now the question is Troy going to hold back, or is he going to try to outwit and outsmart Andrew Redward as they come in the initiation? Redward, though, not holding back. He's trying to chase it down, and he's door-to-door again.
Andrew Redward, the Angle King. Look at this chase coming from Redward. He knows his car. He is driving it inch perfect today. Look at the form he's showing. He's right on the door there of Troy Forsyth. Troy Forsyth's got nowhere to go. He can't get away from that nimble car. Gives him a hand signal out the window. He knows that battle is over.
But what a way to lose. Always happy camaraderie down at D1NZ. The Dodson replay just showing Andrew Redward back bumper door-to-door on the Rapid Performance S13. Andrew Redward goes through to top 4. So next battle up in the top 8, Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Zach Pole. A repeat, I should say, of Whangarei.
Another interesting battle here, the V8 up against the turbo horsepower. Fanga Dan's got a lower power car, but you see there how he's been able to get away to such a great start just by having the ratios right in the diff and in the gearbox. Zach Pole's got to close up, but Fanga Dan Woolhouse looking oh so smooth.
Well, you've got to give props to Zach Pole in the Rolly R33 for someone that's a newcomer. He's doing pretty well to chase down the champion.
Yeah, the 06 champion Fanga Dan Woolhouse, and we've heard it said a lot. Fanga's back. You check out this replay here. He is not making mistakes. And what can Zach Pole do?
Yeah, that was pretty intense, mate. We'll have to see how we go next time.
So we go off the line. Fanga Dan now on the chase. Zach Pohl on the lead. What can Zach Pohl do to outsmart Fanga Dan?
Well, Zach Pohl's really got to try and do something to unsettle Fanga Dan, but he's looking just so confident. Look at how he tucks into that lead car and just mimics every movement it's making. He's not doing anything sudden or twitchy. He's just doing what he needs to do to get through to the next round. This is a whole new Fanga Dan.
Well, like I said before, you've got to give it to Zach Pohl. That was an awesome lead off, but commentator's curse, I just jinxed him. That's a 10-0. Fanga Dan goes through to top 4.
Check out the BP Ultimate replay there. Zach Pohl spins, pushes Fanga Dan wide, doesn't matter. That's going to hand the advantage to Fanga. Through to the top 4 he goes.
Next battle up, Mad Mike Whiddett. He managed to get that car fixed from that crash with Gary Tenana versus Nico Reid. Mad Mike on the lead, Nico Reid on the chase.
Well, is it fixed 100%, Brendan? And you've got to think an impact like that's got to have an effect. And you see there, Mad Mike is really struggling. Spins out in front of Nico Reid, who actually contacts Mad Mike's car. Nico Reid will take a 10-0 advantage.
So has that contact right there damaged Nico Reid's car?
Man. Now we
So you see Nico Reid's team here taking full advantage of the 5 minutes that they've got. They're trying to make repairs to the rear end of that car.
throw extension about 2 inches, 3 inches. Yeah, I felt it after he hit me.
So it's just a minor contact here with the Nico Reid and the Mad Mike cars, but it's knocked it out of alignment.
What we're going to do is we're going to pull back off the line. We've got 30 seconds left, so they're almost there. We'll use our 5 minutes to give them a bit more time.
So what a sporting gesture there from Mad Mike and his crew. He knew that he caused that contact. They wanted to give Nico Reid's team a little bit more time to make those repairs. Amazing sportsmanship and camaraderie amongst the D1NZ pros.
Well, so Mad Mike takes his 5 minutes so they can get back on the line. So Nico Reid now on the lead and Mad Mike on the chase.
Now what can Mad Mike do here with this wounded bull? Look at the chase he's throwing in there, but he knows that he's handed a massive advantage to Nico Reid.
Well, what a chase from Mad Mike. Oh, but he spins. That is a 10-0 to Nico Reid. Nico Reid will go through to top 4. So after all that, unfortunately, you saw here the bumpers flying apart. He's trying to chase him down, but just a bit too much angle coming into that last section. That does it for Mad Mike.
Into the top 4 we go. Andrew Redward and Hugo Mclean. Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Nico Reid.
So the first battle, the top 4, 2 very short wheelbase cars. Andrew Redward on the lead, Hugo Mclean on the chase.
And you gotta love the battle between the rotary and the V8. Andrew Redward has the lead. Look at how quickly he got off that line there. And look at the angle from Andrew Redward. Hugo Mclean's got to try and close this up. I don't even know if he's going to be able to. Andrew Redward's carrying so much speed.
It's a huge angle coming along that wall at over 100k an hour. Definitely some of New Zealand's best drifting right there. A huge advantage also to Andrew Redward as he keeps it pinned, lock to lock. Hugo Mclean's going to have to pull something out of the bag here to go through to the podium.
Yeah, check out this replay. Andrew Redward actually managed to accelerate away and extend the gap as they got to that final turn 3. They're going to switch over now. Mclean's going to have the lead. He's going to have to do something pretty special to unseat Redward, who's looking oh so strong and wants that first win of the season.
Well, the 20B screams as it tries to pull away from the V8 of Eastern Automotive, but it doesn't happen. The Achilles FCR RX7, Andrew Redward is a man on a mission. Hugo Mclean's been driving out of his skin all weekend, but Andrew Redward door to door, back bumper again.
Yeah, Redward just fully committed there. Hugo Mclean had nowhere really to go. He had no tricks left to throw at Redward. He's going to go into the battle for 3rd and 4th. Andrew Redward will go on to fight for positions 1 and 2.
So we go the next battle up, the repeat of Whangarei, Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Nico Reid.
You're still in the game to the old Whangarei.
Fanga Dan Woolhouse, not too much to say. He's going to let his driving do the talking. Fanga Dan will have the lead. What can Nico Reid do on the chase? And the big question is that rear of that car damaged?
Well, this comes down to it. Who will go through to battle for 1st and 2nd and get those value? It's going to be Fanga by the looks of it right now. A huge mistake there from Nico Reid.
Yeah, I don't know that that was a mistake from Reid. That car is clearly damaged from that contact with Mad Mike's car. It's just making it such a handful to drive, and when you're up against Fanga Dan, you need a 100% car.
So as I was saying, this is all about championship points now. Whoever goes through to battle for 1st and 2nd Oh, it was a lucky escape there by Nico Reid, just gassed out of the corner. So who will go through to battle for first and second and get those important championship points coming into next weekend's Hampton Downs round? Well, Nico Reid initiates first.
Nico Reid has to do something special here. Whangarei Dan's got a big advantage because Nico lost his drift. Whangarei Dan, though, he's just hanging back that little bit. It's the 95% driving we've seen from Whangarei Dan all weekend. He's driving smart now. He's not driving as aggressively as he used to. In past, Whangarei Dan might have made a mistake by tucking up and maybe made contact. Whangarei Dan is here to win a championship title.
So as Mad Mike stands by with the CODY'S skills, we look at this BP Ultimate Replay. Nico Reid trying as hard as he can, but Whangarei Dan just chasing on down, playing it safe, textbook chase, gets those points and goes through.
What this means too, Brendan, is Whangarei Dan is going to be very well positioned for the BP Triple Crown.
That's right, this is round 2 of the BP Triple Crown, the final round in Christchurch at the end of March.
First time in the top 4.
Well, the nerves setting in for Hugo Mclean, the first time ever in battle for 3rd and 4th. The big initiation, though, from Nico Reid.
I think we might be seeing the future of New Zealand drifting on display here, Brendan. Nico Reid, Hugo Mclean, 2 guys in their early 20s. Look at the driving that's coming from these guys. You can see the bumper flapping away on the back of the Nico Reid car. He is not holding back, though. And Hugo Mclean, if he had done this one round earlier, he would have been battling for 1st and 2nd. But based on that chase, he's got one hand on that 3rd position.
Well, Hugo Mclean coming of age at Bay Park, Tauranga. He's definitely owning this weekend. Some of the Road Red boys all happy right next to him, Mad Mike and Ricky Lee. And Tyre to Tyre bumper action.
Hugo Mclean now, he has the lead. Nico Reid has all the work to do. There was an epic chase there from Hugo Mclean. Nico Reid is all business, but he's being gapped off the start-finish line, Brendan.
Well, the AE85 Grabatool managing to hammer the traction down on the ground, but Nico Reid manages to close that gap up. He's on a shallow line, though. This is going to be advantage to Hugo Mclean. Could we see his first ever podium?
Nico Reid's made a dive to the inside, but he's straightened up. Is he going to hit him? He just about does. Nico Reid goes off track. Hugo Mclean's going to go through and grab his first ever podium finish as the fans in the pits go absolutely crazy for both drivers. The Castrol Edge replay. Look at the form being shown by these 2 young men. The future of New Zealand drifting on display at ASB Bay Park.
The summer stop, ASB Bay Park, all comes down to this, the D1NZ final. Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Andrew Redward, V8 versus V8.
We're well over 100k in a short distance coming up to a brick wall, you know. Yeah. It is a slight mistake and then next minute she's all over and you get sucked in, eh? And,
just have fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun battling fingers, so
yeah, have fun, mate.
Well, you got to love the smiles on the dial there, but you got to think those smiles are hiding a fair amount of nerves. This is serious business. Titles on the line here at Bay Park. Who's going to hold the advantage after run number 1?
Well, this is what over 7,000 people came out to see, the final battle. Andrew Redward, a bit of a shallow line there, but manages to catch up to the Castrol Edge Holden.
Look at the chase coming from Andrew Redward. Touch around the inside. Oh, Andrew Redward has overcooked it. Have the nerves got to him? He knew he was up against Whangarei Dan, who's been on such a tear of form. He had the advantage up until that point, and Andrew Redward with a catastrophic mistake on the BP Ultimate Replay. You see there, he just overshot his braking point. Andrew Redward overcooks it, spins to the inside. It's 10-0 to Whangarei Dan.
It's such a fast dive in there. Is he going to be able to pull something out of the bag? Whangarei Dan on the chase, Andrew Redward on the lead, but Whangarei Dan all the way back.
This is driving smart from Whangarei Dan. His team have clearly given him the message. You've got the 10-0. The old Whangarei would have been right on the door. He would have been trading paint. He would have risked possibly spinning his opponent out, but Whangarei Dan means business. Look at this. This is a cool, calm, collected drive. This is Whangarei Dan looking for title number 2.
Well, he wants that win coming into next weekend's Hampton Downs round. He spins out. He knows it. He did have clutch issues coming into the grand final, so maybe that was a big factor of him hanging back out as well. It was basically pushed off the line to get going, but we go to prize giving.
The first time ever a female on the podium, home in 2nd place. Put your hands together for Jodie Verhulst.
And this is going to showcase the importance of the D1NZ Development Series, our first ever female podium finisher.
Mr. Darren Kelly.
Darren Kelly for DKM Fabrication grabs first place and valuable points in the championship lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is first ever podium finish. Put your hands together for Mr. Hugo Mclean.
So Hugo Mclean's first ever podium finish, home in 2nd place for Achilles Radio, Andrew Redward, but the winner on the day, and the BP Triple Crown winner also, Whangarei Dan Woolhouse for Castrol Edge.
Well, what a round it was. The top 10 championship point leaders coming into next weekend's Hampton Downs. Fanga Dan right on the top. Curt Whittaker, the defending champion, in third.
Fanga Dan Woolhouse just absolutely tore this place apart. The people of Tauranga came out in force. They lifted the roof. They got loud. And we saw some of the best drifting ever seen in New Zealand. So it's game on as we head towards round 4. Fanga Dan has a massive lead. Everyone else has got the work to do.
That's right, Warren. It's all going down next weekend. Hampton Downs, the V8 legends versus Drift legends. Australians champion coming over to take on Curt Whittaker, and the championship fight heats up before we go to Christchurch. A huge thanks to all our sponsors and everyone who came out for Bay Park. Thanks to Codys Bourbon and Cola, Castrol Edge Oil, BP Ultimate 98 and Dodson Performance. You'll see D1NZ next weekend, Hampton Downs.